And now we would like to invite Shruti to deliver with us her first place speech.
Malala Yousafzai once said, "There are many problems, but I think there's a solution to all these problems. It's just one, and it's education." And it's not just her. Other famous figures fighting for equality, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Nelson Mandela, Gandhi, the list could go forever, have all taken education into their activism. If you look back in history, almost every triumph, each step taken towards true equality has had a silent shadow: education. What was the catalyst for the civil rights movement? The Brown versus Board of Education case regarding segregation in schools. Education is the pathway to the future. So, my question is, if education is so important, why is it that today, in the 21st century, we still have educational inequality? This is an issue that is very close to my heart. I currently attend a charter school, and the only reason I go there is because I was living in an area with very poor schools. The infrastructure was falling down in places, the teachers weren't open to my race, and as a minority, they did not have programs to help me with my English. My mother saw this and enrolled me at Nile. But not everyone is as lucky as I am to escape these constraints. Bad schools are practically a pathway to failure in the real world. For example, where I live, in Austin, there's an enormous gap between the East and the West districts. In the East, due to historical divides in the early 20th century, the area is characterized by poverty, minority groups, and underserved schools. Many films and papers have been done on schools there, particularly East Side Memorial. But Lake Travis and Eanes ISD to the west are ranked among the top 10 school districts in Texas, while Pflugerville and Austin to the east are ranked closer to 100. Statistics, however, are not going to solve the problem. The Texas and US legislation needs to bring more funding into education. Currently, the TEA predicts over a $3.5 billion drop in educational funding while taxes go up. We, as a state, already rank only 36th in the nation on educational spending. Another facet of this issue is teachers' salary. Teaching is one of the most rewarding and challenging fields, yet in this nation, teachers are paid far less than other educated professions of similar merit. Additionally, disadvantaged schools tend to pay less, leading qualified teachers to be drawn elsewhere. But, yet again, this cannot be fixed without funding, which is not easily obtained. At a school level, however, there is room to do so much more. This is actually something I've been trying to tackle at my own school, and this is by starting a service project called the Nile Dignity Locker. This is a project that means to combat neglect and poverty in the educational system through providing basic necessities to students who may need them. The basic motto of the locker is to have every student feel normal and prepared to learn and not be self-conscious about something as trivial as school supplies. The locker contains school supplies, hygiene products, and non-perishable food. It is currently a shelf in our cafeteria where everyone can access it. Schools should begin initiatives like the locker to promote educational equality. Even at my school, we've seen a dramatic increase in students coming to class prepared, hence performing better. If a simple shelf at a tiny school can do so much, imagine what initiatives like this could do to a large public school. Finding teachers can be difficult at all schools, but the first step is to bring minority into the field. Many minorities who would be able to relate to the conditions of these schools are pushed out of the field. Students need hope for their futures, so when they see teachers that look like them and that can relate with them, they will be motivated. And this is such an important part of the issue because if students aren't inspired, no amount of educational funding or qualified teaching will fix their performance. Many others have seen the importance of this issue. Even last year's Educators Rising National Conference had a specific focus on social justice and diversity in the educational field. The year is 2019. It is past time that we have equal educational opportunities for all students, regardless of gender or race. The disadvantages seen in society are only reinforced by the cycle of lack of education and lack of opportunities. But if we, as Americans, and more importantly as humans, work together to fix this inequality in the world's most industrialized nation, pushing for funding, promoting diversity, and making sure every single student has the same opportunities to be prepared and learn, we can change the world. The future is in the next generation, and it is up to us to make sure they're educated for it. Thank you.